We have a very, very special guest joining us, Utah Royals left back, mental health advocate, and member of the NWSL Madison Pogarch, all the way from Utah on the holiday. Po, how is it going? Where are you right now?
Hey yo, no, it's good. I'm actually at a coffee shop right now. Just we actually got out of training a bit early today, so I'm just at a coffee shop hanging out and chatting to you guys. I'm super excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'd love that. Thank you for joining us. Before we get started, what's your coffee order?
I was gonna ask that. Brian,
It changes. I think like as of now, just because it's been hot out, it's like an iced flat white or an iced short latte. In the winter is usually cappuccino.
We're on the same vibe. Jen, you
Yeah,
similar?
yeah, yeah.
Are you a black
yeah,
coffee
I've
person?
varied it up as well. I'm like either iced americano with oat milk. Sometimes on the tough days, guys, I'm a double espresso.
Wow, good for
Damn.
you.
Tough days sometimes call for it, you know. But yeah, hot days, I'm iced coffee all day.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
that's
give me
awesome.
3/4 of some oat milk or something, and then like a
Yeah,
little bit of coffee and like a pump of sweetener. I'm like the
Yes,
fake coffee
yes,
drinker out of
right.
us. But Poe, thank you so much for joining us. I
of
love that
course.
we get to have you on. Not only are you a baller on the field, you're changing the game off the field. And during Mental Health Awareness Month, this is especially important. And you have Positive Apparel, which I've ordered some clothes from. They come in today.
I did
I
see
thought they were
that.
going to
I
get here
did
in time.
see that.
Yep.
Thank you.
I had to order some shirts, but I wanted to know what made you even start Positive Apparel? What was the inspiration for you to get this ground moving?
Yeah, I think for me, just like a big part of my mental health journey has just been really trying to like find other identities. I think like in myself, and so kind of separating, like finding ways to separate me from the soccer player. And so I kind of just like started designing T-shirts like on the side, and a lot of the, I guess, a lot of the motivation or like the meanings behind the shirt came from something that was pretty much like going on in my life in the time, or something like a message that meant something to me. And so it really was just kind of like a hobby. I would design it and then started the Etsy shop. And I was like, if someone relates and wants to buy the shirt and they think it's cool, that's great. There's like sometimes I think, I don't know, you know, when you go to like Forever 21, you're like, that's a cool shirt. And then it says like, I hate Mondays or something on the front. I think it was
Yeah.
just like, oh, I can design it myself and have something that like I really enjoy. And then if somebody else also like likes it, then they can buy it. So it's really started off like that. And then it also just kind of turned into a vehicle for me to kind of raise money. So I think this month, like I'm doing the mental health line, and then proceeds and like a portion of those proceeds will go to a mental health support system out here in Utah. And it's actually the Utah version, but it's the organization that created the suicide hotline. But it's like the Utah, so it's like more local here and stuff like that. So I'll try to do stuff that's like more local to the area that I'm in. But yeah, really just started as like a hobby, something just like kind of be able to like play with and enjoy. That's like away from soccer.
Poe, well, first of all, this is all really incredible. A hobby, thinking of a shirt from Forever 21 and then turning it into your own line that's now doing well on Etsy. I mean, I had to decide how many to order, which I'm sure I'm going to order more because I have a shopping addiction. But how did jumping into this, is this something that's become, therapeutic for you to design and create and really give back to this community?
Yeah, I think so. It was like a really cool way, I think, for me to just like merge some of my interests. Like, sure, like I always kind of took art classes. I've always enjoyed painting, but like don't like the messiness of it. And I think on a computer, it's like much easier to kind of draw and design. I use Canva for the most part, so I like pay for the premium, but kind of just like create some things and then like throw it on a t-shirt and like it's just like creating wearable art. I think was like a really cool idea. So it's just like a way for me to get creativity out into the world and like I try and say like engage that like childhood play in a sense to like feed the inner child in me. And then I was just like, if I'm gonna be doing it, and like there's like obviously a little bit, not all of my shirts like go towards a nonprofit, but like there's a little bit of like side money, a little
Mhm.
incentive on the side, but yeah, no, I think it just like started as like completely organic. Like this is just something I'm going to do for fun, and if it does well, it's great. If it doesn't, it's totally fine. It's really just for me to kind of express myself in a way that doesn't have to do with athletics, really. So I didn't necessarily imagine it taking off, or not taking off, but I think like gaining so much ground, because even some of my teammates are like, oh, I thought you're just promoting like a random, because we can like promote random businesses and stuff. And I was like, no, I actually make those. And so I think I could probably do a better job marketing myself as well. But no, I think the response has been really cool. And so to see people like you and people I know purchasing shirts, and yeah, it's been really awesome actually.
Definitely sounds like I need to purchase some shirts for sure. Paul, you
No
touched
pressure.
on, yeah, I'll order them. All good. Paul, you touched on painting and activities outside of sport.
Yeah.
I know firsthand how important that is for mental health, but why do you think that is? And how much do you encourage teammates to do the same, to get outside of sport and sort of be stimulated mentally to help their mental health?
Yeah, I think it's massive. I think for me, I mean, personally, it's been probably the biggest part in my journey as a professional, and like finding how I can be most successful really is like the more time I think I take away from football, the better I actually am, which sometimes seems like ironic. But I do really think that's helped me, because it creates this opportunity for me to miss it. Like it creates this like longing, where I think, as if it's something that you're thinking about all the time, you're doing every day, it can just be a bit monotonous. And I think giving time away gives you the opportunity to remember why you love it. It like keeps it being a dream job as opposed to being just a job. And that's something I think I talk about a lot. Something I advocate with our coaches all the time is like, you cannot overlook how important the time away is, or being able to like water the other parts of yourself. And so I'm always encouraged, I think, when we talk to like young kids and in different clubs and stuff like that, I'm always encouraging them to like pursue their interests, because I think, we all know that your window to be an athlete is so small, but like you don't stop being you when your career is over. And so this is also, I think, selfishly and personally, a way for me to kind of ease that when that day does come. Because I think, I don't know what I'll do post soccer. I don't know 100%, but I think I'm confident that I'll be able to figure it out, because I know that I have other things that I'm contributing to the world that aren't just in my sport. And I've had to work, very hard on that over the last 7 years. And so I think the earlier you can learn that, and like sharing that with some of the younger players, encouraging them, like there is a grind, and yes, you have to get into the grind, but there's also, you have to take time away. And the balance of that is probably the most important to having like a long, successful career.
Yeah, well, can I talk about the grind for a little bit? Because I think
Yeah, absolutely.
we talk about the difficulties in sport, and of course, it is a dream job. I'll still say to this day, being a footballer is the best job in the world. But I think we don't necessarily talk about the difficulties, and we kind of still shy away from that. Why do you think sport specifically does that, right? Why do you think we as athletes have that mentality that it's still difficult to share your mental health and how you're actually feeling? And what can we do as a sports community to help that? Apart from exactly what you're doing, but what can we add to it? Because you're doing it.
No. Thank you. No, I think talking about it, obviously, like, had the more we normalize it, and the more that like you go, it's okay that you're having a bad day. It's okay that like you're not feeling 100% today. Because the reality is, like, an athlete, you can't give 100% every single day, but like you can give your best. So that might look like 80% for me today, but I'm going to give my 80%, or tomorrow I can give my 100%. But I think as athletes, like, we're always taught like to push to your limits and like push yourself, and it's going to be worth it, and like the grind's going to be worth it. And like, I don't disagree with that. I just think it's finding and compartmentalizing the right time. So like when you're at training, when you have your time on the ball, like when you have the energy to give, you go 100%. But like if you don't, or if you're feeling like I can't give it all, I feel like I'm going to take away from myself if I do more today, then you're kind of just damaging yourself, I think, for the long run. And so it's like being able to find that balance of like, today's a day for me that I'm gonna go and I'm gonna give everything that I can. And then sometimes, you're a bit tired, you wake up and you're like, okay, I'm gonna give the best that I can. And being able to find that balance, I think, is also just part of like being professional. And it happens. I think some people end up being able to do it earlier, some people later, but it is a fine balance, because you also know, like, you can't have teammates coming in and just kind of like taking the piss on the day. Like, you can't go through the motions. That's not going to help you either. And so, you know, and that's going to be frustrating to your teammates as well. So it's like, yeah, you know, maybe today I wasn't my best, and but it was what it was today, and I gave it everything I could. And then tomorrow, I'm like, I'm going to do what I can today to recharge, so tomorrow I can be at 100%. I think it's a lot easier said than done. I think sometimes the awareness of knowing when you can't give anymore is the hardest part when you're growing up, and like in terms of like maturity and stuff like that, because sometimes, as athletes, we're like, oh, we can push, and then you just push yourself to a point of burnout. And then it's almost like at that point, it's a bit too late to then, now you have to take a bit longer to recharge. And so that's been, personally for me, I think a journey is like finding when I'm about to reach that point of burnout, and then, okay, I need to go do these things so that I'm prepared, and I can like kind of fight that, and like, I guess, like push it off, postpone it a bit more.
Oh, this has been like exactly what we all needed to hear. I don't think, you know, just from an athlete standpoint, I know we've all played professional, you're still playing, but we've all hit that point where you do hit that burnout and you're mentally spent. But I think you're doing something so incredible. And even looking at the shirts, never ending project, growing grace, therapy is cool. You're normalizing the conversation so much more. And I just really appreciate everything you're doing. And last question, can we do an attacking third Positive Apparel collaboration? I feel like this needs to happen. Are you game for that?
I'm open. I'm so open to that. That is sick. That'll be a first big break for me. It feels like it's getting serious. Yeah, no, that would be great. I'd be really interested if that's something you really want to do. I'd be happy to. Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Yay. Po, we love having you on the show. Thank you for coming on. Everybody, go purchase something from Positive Apparel. Producer Mark dropped it in the chat. Po, thank you so much, and good luck this weekend against Louisville. We wish you the best of luck.
Thanks, Po.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for the combo. Appreciate it.
Oh. Are you feeling like, why did I get emotional? Like, I felt, it felt very validating, very seen. I feel like those are conversations maybe is becoming more normal, but I think younger Darian, maybe when I was playing, would have loved to have. Did you feel the same?
Couldn't agree more. And I really think, you know, mental health has been spoken more about. There's more conversations, but definitely this idea around the athlete and mental health is so different. Things that happen in the corporate world just aren't necessarily the same in the athlete world. You have to just turn up and do your job, and that is it. So this balance of getting it right in the athlete world is amazing. So Po's work is so valid, like incredibly valuable for everyone in the game. So grateful she came on. She spoke so well as well.
And I can't wait for this collab that we're going to start.
Yeah.
Producer Mark, I know your mind's going, so we're going to get that going. We're going to be Po's big break.